How's it going, tankers? I'm Mad Friday, and today we're going to be having a quick look around the Tier 10 Japanese medium tank, the STB-1. So here it is, tankers, the Tier 10 Japanese medium tank, the STB-1. This comes after the Type 61, and it's quite a breath of fresh air after playing that thing, yeah. Anyway, on paper this tank is appalling, but it's quickly becoming my favourite tier 10 medium that I've got. Anyway, so why is that? Why does it sound so bad on paper, but it turns out to play really well? Well, first off, we're going to look at the armour. Let's bring up what the export says. So it says the front plate's 110, front of the turret is 132. The sides and rear of the hull are appalling, and that is actually true. A lot of these stats lie in the exports garage compared to the actual armour model, but the sides and rear of this are actually correct. The sides are only 35mm everywhere and the rear is 25. Side of the turret's a little better, but let's talk about the front of the hull. It says 110. Well, it is, but just that very thin line that joins the upper plate to the lower plate, that is the only thing that's 110. Yeah, so the lower plate's actually 80, the upper plate's 80, and the portion just below the turret where the driver's hatch is, the driver's hatch isn't actually a weak spot. It's a lot thicker than the plate is sat on. That plate with that bit of track there and the driver's port is actually 40mm thick. Yeah, so don't expect the front plate on this thing to hold up. The driver's hatch is actually 110mm, so it's actually got more chance of bouncing than that 40mm plate, because they're probably going to overmatch that plate anyway. Yeah, so it lies a little bit. The front of the hull isn't 110, it's only that tiny little flat bar that you can see there. Yeah, anyway, so onto the front of the turret. This is another mixed bag. What did it say? 132. Yeah, that's the gun mantlet. The gun mantlet on this thing is actually a weak point. All around the gun mantlet, apart from the top, is 132mm and a very easy pen for every tank this thing can meet. The only difference is the very top of the gun mantlet. That rises to well over 200mm thick, and it's going to be an auto ricochet for pretty much everything. Sides of the turret are not actually that much better. The bits that meet the gun mantlet, they're quite thin as well, and will be an easy pen for everything this can meet. It's only when you come out to the sides facing from the front that the numbers start to go up to high 300s. Top of the turret's a little better though, apart from the cupolas. The cupolas are 80mm, but they're not that easy to hit. And if you're on the 10 degrees of gun depression this thing gets, you can't even see those cupolas anyway. And also at the top of this turret, there's no like green area of artillery splash zone that you get on a lot of tanks. So there's no areas at the front that can be overmatched by large caliber guns. So this turret, although the gun mantlet is pathetic, if you're on max gun depression it will bounce, and it will bounce quite reliably, which is a good thing, but the hull, because the hull is so crappy. Yeah, so it's one of those tanks. It can bounce, but you need to be very careful about what you expose, i.e. try not to expose the hull, just expose your turret, and only from the front. Yeah, so this tank is definitely a ridgeline sniper, but that suits me, and that's why this tank is becoming very quickly my favourite tier 10 medium. See there from my consumables, I'm not running a fire extinguisher, I'm running onigiri, which gives you 10% on all your major crew skills, and the main reason for that is because the hull armour is so crappy. I do not intend on taking hull hits, so I should not get set on fire in the first place. However, some of my crew skills I am using to try and stop the chances of me getting set on fire if I do have to go in and brawl. And brawling in this thing, it's not advisable, but because the rate of fire is so good, it's one of the few of the tier 10 mediums that can go toe to toe with a Russian medium. As long as you pen your shots, he's going to pen you pretty much guaranteed, but as long as you pen your shots back because of the rate of fire, it's going to be a 50-50 as to who wins or who had the most health in the first place. Right, so to sum up the armour then, the bottom half is crap, the top half is not bad, as long as you get a little bit of luck with people not aiming directly at your gun. Yeah, so that's that. What we're going to go on to now, well, let's have a look at the proper stats. So that's 1950 hit points, that's fairly healthy for a tier 10 medium. Speed limit of 53, and it does get there pretty quickly with a 750 horsepower engine. Very good chassis rotation at 52 degrees a second, although the turret rotation is a little slower at 42 degrees. Now I don't like it when the turrets are slower than the hull, but that's just my personal preference. Rate of fire, we're going to go into gun in a minute, 7.5 rounds a minute, and view range is a very good 410 base. So with your coated optics and some cruise skills, you're going to be spotting everything at maximum range. Camo value says average, but it's just over the halfway mark, and with paint and cruise skills, this thing does make a good medium range sniper. I'm not going to say a long range sniper because we're going to look at the gun stats right now. Right, let's bring them up, go into the packages, find the top one. Right, so we've talked about the engine, that's fine. Rate of fire, 7.5 rounds a minute with a 105. This tank is DPM City. If you combine that with a rammer, onigiri, brothers in arms, this thing spits bullets and it is amazing. Pen is very good at 258, it's APCR with your standard rounds of 390 alpha, and it gets nice heat rounds of 330 pen and 390 alpha for fighting German armour and stuff like that. HE pen is low at 53, but I do carry a couple just in case for a cap reset. Right, so the next two stats is what sets this tank back from being quite possibly the best tier 10 medium in the game. The aim time is not bad at 2.29, and the accuracy is only, I think it's 0.01 better than its predecessor, the Type 61, at 0.36. Right, hang on, let me bring up some other tier 10 mediums. Let's bring up Briton and the Germans. Right, so if we go into the E50M, 2.09 aim time and 0.3 accuracy. So if you want a long range sniper, probably not looking for the STB-1, or even, let's have a look at the British one. Where have you gone, British? Packages. 2.09 aim time again, I think it was the same, and 0.31 accuracy. So if you want a long range sniper, STB-1's probably not for you. You probably want to go for a German or a British tank if you like to sit at max range and snipe out targets. But if you want a medium range, sort of short range, pokey turret tank, STB-1 is for you. That rate of fire is awesome. It just rips tanks to pieces. Anyway, we spoke about the rest. Signal range 750, not bad at all, and that is all of your stats done. Right, to sum that up quickly then, if you're not using the gun depression in this tank, you're probably doing it wrong. You only want to expose your turret. Put that gun to work. Don't expect all your rounds to hit, but because of the 7.5 rounds a minute with some crew skills and equipment, just spit another round out. Give it another go. Right, so while we're there, we look at my crew skills. Got a few skills on this one. It's not particularly skilled. Right, so you want 6th Sense, Brothers in Arms, Camo. Definitely camo on this tank. It does like to be sneaky. Snapshot, you will need that because the aim time is not great, but it's okay. Repairs, I took repairs because you do get your gun hit quite a lot, and it tends to be red damage and not just critical damage. And if you've got no repair kit left and you end up with a gun repairing for 20 odd seconds or whatever it is, that can be a drama. And also optics as well. People snipe your cupolas, you do tend to get your optics red damage as well, so that brings your optics back just a little bit quicker. Right, so I spoke about the onigiri and the reason why I take it, because I don't require a fire extinguisher if I'm playing the tank correctly. Well, you can't always play the tank correctly, can you? So there is going to be occasions where you have to take a hull hit. And this thing does get set on fire quite easily, which is why I've taken preventative maintenance. That gives you a less of chance of getting set on fire in the first place, and I am training firefighting to reduce the amount of damage tickets if I do get set on fire. And that is all I can do to stop me getting set on fire when I'm using onigiri. Right, so that's it, fellas. That's my crew skills. I would recommend them. Right, supplies. This tank holds a lot more ammunition than the Type 61, but because of the rate of fire, you can bump this thing up to nearly, I don't know the actual figure. It's probably about 9 rounds a minute you can bump this thing up to. So it holds 50 rounds, so you can bang through that in less than 6 minutes. Yeah, so although it does hold more than the Type 61, you still get through them really quick. Anyway, so I carry plenty of APCR, 10 heat for fighting German armour, you will need that, and also a couple of HEs just for cap resets and artillery, stuff like that. Standard equipment consumables for me, bar the fire extinguisher, and I run onigiri, but we've already spoken about that. Right, equipment choice for this, just bog standard tier 10 medium equipment. You get 410 base view range, so with coated optics, brothers in arms, and onigiri your view range is right up there, and you can fulfill the spotting role very easily. Definitely vert stabs on this one. The aim time's a little bit longer than some of its some of the other tier 10 mediums, so you really can't be doing without vert stabs on this thing. And because of the rate of fire is so good, you're going to be firing a shot, backing off, backing straight up again, and then aiming in to get another round away. So vert stabs really does reduce your aiming reticle bloom, and a medium caliber rammer just to bring up your DPM even further. Right, that's it fellas. Hopefully I've explained everything, not going into the armor viewer today because there's no need. It's all about the turret and your gun depression and letting this gun do what it does. Right, into some gameplay.
Alright men, we've got enemies in the area. We either have to take them all out or capture their base. Let's roll.
Right, here we go, tankers. STB-1 on Sand River. Fairly nice matchup, there's only a few tier 10s on each team, so hopefully we can put this gun to work. Immediately you can see the speed is pretty good. Does motor along, and also it's quite a low profile tank. So you can make use of even the slightest little undulation in the ground, just like that. And ideally, to make sure you're hiding your hole, you want to have your gun reticle just over the berm that you're using to go hole down. You see here, I'm actually a little bit too far out. I'll get a first spot, that view range is awesome. Fortunately, it looks like we didn't actually damage that guy, just got a crit on his tracks, which is very unfortunate. Anyway, yeah, so I bought this tank just before I moved house, literally the day before. And then I moved house and I didn't have internet for 2 weeks, and all I could think about was this tank. And none of the others, it was just this one. Right, we get hit there, fortunately it bounced. Would have been very lucky to pen that one really. Anyways, a little bit worried about the enemy's SPG, so I'll keep backing off. Here we go, first proper hit of the game into the light tank. Oh, look at this rate of fire. Oh, it just reloaded, not in time to get hit into the E100.
Target locked.
Right, so this is why I like this position. You can get shots onto all of the guys that are trying to flank your guys that are pushing up that flank. I said flank a lot of times, didn't I? Anyway, yeah. You can kind of cover probably 2/3 of the map from here. Bad shot for me there, didn't lead this one. I've aced this tank a few times. This is an ace tanker replay. Probably not my best ace tanker replay though, well definitely not my best ace tanker replay, but it does highlight just how bad the accuracy is at long range with this tank. Medium range, it's acceptable. Close range is fine, but the long range, 0.36 accuracy, does start to show its head. Right, finally starting to punish this E100. We've got the tracking shot there, so anytime one of our friendlies hits him, that one disappeared into nowhere, the magic E100 armour, but he's still tracked and they're getting more. Only get the crit and the retrack, but all these assist points are coming straight over here. There we go, get the kill shot. One of their tier 10 tanks taken down. And again, I'm a little bit too exposed here. Oh, another quick kill there, that was nice. Yeah, ideally with this tank, to make sure you've got the best of your gun turret armour, you really just want to make sure your aiming reticle's just over the bit of cover.
Ready to fire on target.
Yeah, now looking at the map, I'm glad I didn't go that flank. There's a Death Star and a Waffle round there. They would make very light work of this tank. If the Death Star hit me, and I wasn't hull down and he managed to hit the hole, it would be all but over. Right, it was a bad decision now. I went to take the building down to try and either give myself or the team a shot on the waffle, but a light got lit up just as I did it. And there we go. Take a Death Star hit to the turret. And it didn't pen and did very minimal splash, but did break my gun. Yeah, a broken gun on this tank is very painful. I'm glad I had a repair kit left there.
Ready to fire on target. They found us. Unlocking target.
Well, now you can see pulling off snapshots with this gun here is a bit hit and miss. The aim time's not good enough to quickly zoom in, adjust your shot and let it go. You're normally not fully aimed by the time your round's ready to go. But when you're stationary, it's more than good enough. It's just its rate of fire though. See, that shot only tracked him, but it's only a few seconds. So you've got another one up the spout and he's dead. So we're evening up the numbers. Solid T-34 turret, and that bounces even with the 258 pen of these APCR rounds.
Ready to fire.
Yeah, that one goes in and damages his ammo rack, so he's all but done. There we go, see? I was aimed over the bank. The round dipped before it even got over the bank.
We've got a lock.
That's what I was saying about the ammo count. You can keep this gun going, but you're soon down to very few rounds left. I mean, look at this. I've got a couple of APCR rounds, a couple of heat rounds, and a couple of high explosive rounds. I may even drop back my HU rounds to 2 after watching this.
Stretch another bad guy.
Right, we're just pushing in. We know 2 of them are at their base. We know their Death Star's in the middle somewhere. Just the SPG where I don't know where he is. Oh, there we go. He finally gets spotted. Didn't roll good enough to kill him there. Will we get the second shot away before our team gets him? There we go.
Our team just wasted an enemy.
Totally got the wrong ammo loaded, I know. No one's perfect.
Been detected.
Probably not even noticed. I do that quite a lot.
Ready to fire on target. We've got a
Oh, it's now swapped to a high explosive round for the light tank, and this is where a kind of combination of my own poor aim and the bad accuracy leads to me letting this guy get away. To aim one off, he just drives up a little bank just as I fire. Right, so now I'm spotted. Could be this guy. He is aiming at me. And another miss.
target locked. Loaded and ready. We hit a log.
Crit on his track. Oh, it's all going wrong now.
Dropping target.
Ooh, just a tiny bit too much lead, and that's the difference between going from a high explosive round with fairly low muzzle velocity to an APCR round with high muzzle velocity and not quite giving the correct amount of lead for the shot. Right, so they're down to one tank. Where is he? Come on. There we go. Whee! Totally worth it. And that was for a Top Gun. Right, there we go, fellas. Top Gun, the STB-1. Not the best game I've ever played, but an ace tanker. But I think that replay does highlight just how many rounds you can get down the range, but you need to because the accuracy is not particularly good. Right, so there we go, ace tanker, Top Gun, 5,500 damage, 6 kills. And it was the assist points here that gave me the ace tanker, 3,500 assist points. Puts us top of the team. Right, so there we go, tankers. Hope you've enjoyed this quick review. STB-1 is totally worth it, and it was worth the painful grind through the Type 61. Once you've got the Type 61 fully upgraded, it was another 260,000 experience to get this tank. But in my opinion, it was totally worth it. This is by far my most fun tier 10 medium that I have at the minute. I'm trying to put some more time back into the bat chat, but this tank is more of the persistent support tank, where the bat chat is just the surprise butt sex tank. So they play completely differently. Right, if you enjoyed the video, lads, give it a like if you did, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I don't mind, it's entirely up to you. Right, I'll catch you tomorrow, fellas. See you later.